I'm Chris Linder, and I'm an entrepreneur just like you. I want to talk to you today a little bit about some of the things that I work on and practice on a daily basis.
A born hustler, mom engraved me with the words. She always told me I was perfect, son, go get what you deserve. There's winners and there's losers, stay upon the former king. Bite your tongue for not a all and fuck opinions till it stings, oh. See, ain't nobody gonna hand you no help. And ain't no cosigns or label, mom, I did it myself. Ain't no complaints on my side, ain't no excuse I could blame.
If you're here today, it's because you're an entrepreneur. You're in this room today because you've decided to go down a path that you want to be in business for yourself on some level, in some way. Now, what that means is it's all on you. You're betting on yourself. To be an entrepreneur, you have to bet on yourself, and there is nobody else. Whoever you bring into the picture is who you bring in, but at the end of the day, it's all on you. So, what I want to talk to you today about is failing. Because I believe that a huge part of being a successful entrepreneur is failing. When you learn how to fail, you learn how to succeed. That sounds crazy, I know. But what we want to talk about is two types of failing. There's failing forward and there's failing backwards. Most of us are pretty familiar with that whole failing backwards part of it, right? So what we want to talk about is how do we learn the difference between the two, and how do we stick to just doing the one that we really, really want, okay? So along the way, we have a process, right? Anything we do, you're gonna develop a process. If you're really committed to what you're doing, your business, being a true entrepreneur, and developing this plan, this master plan that you have to earn some extra money or to really kill it, whatever it is. I don't care if you're trying to make $1 million a year or $100 a year. Either way, you should have a plan. And along the way, you're gonna have to develop a process to execute this plan. Well, not every plan is perfect, even though there are some fantastic people, and you probably are going to meet some here today that can help you take some of the, what they would call failures out of it. They've already done this for you. They know how to do it. Let me show you my way because I've done all the failing for you. Well, that's great because that's going to help your learning curve quite a bit. But what it's not going to do is it's not going to teach you how valuable it was to fail, because there's going to come a time when there is no plan, there is no process necessarily there for you as an entrepreneur. There may be a part of your process that's laid out, but there's always these decisions and things that have to be figured out all on your own, and you gotta figure it out by yourself, right? So the best thing you can do is learn how to fail the right way. So what I would say is failing backwards is what we'll talk about first. And failing backwards is really just like it sounds, right? So when you go through your process and something doesn't work, you thought this was going to be the exact right way to do it, and it didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to be, and it was a complete failure, okay? And I don't care how big or how small of a failure that really is, either way it failed, right? So we need to figure out, did we fail backwards? Did we fail forward? What are we doing here? And failing backwards amounts to accepting that failure for the fact that you failed and saying, well, I guess I did it that way. I'm not going to do that again. And, I'll avoid that next time because it didn't work out for me. That's maybe the logical way of thinking when it comes to failure. Well, I would call that failing backwards. What we want to do is we want to fail forward. We want to learn exactly why we failed. If we know exactly why we failed, we can help further our process by knowing what part of our process or how to change that piece of that process to not fail again. So if I'm going through it and I can say, you know what, I did all this and it failed, but 90% of what I did worked great. It was really this little part that didn't work. Well, that's great, I've identified it, but now what I want to do is I want to dig in, figure out why that didn't work. I'm going to learn a few other things that I may not use at this moment, may end up using them in the future, but either way, I want to hone in exactly as to why that didn't work. And if I can do that, then I can cross it off my list. I truly know why I failed. I didn't just chalk it up to this whole thing didn't work or whatever it may be. You want to know exactly what it was. So we're going to try to hone in on what part of the process didn't work and see if we can fix that the next phase around, try to change that piece of our process. Now, it may not work the next time either, but since we knew we could truly cross it off the list the first time, we failed forward. And if you're failed forward, you're winning. So work on that, If you can master that, you're going to have great success in this industry. Good luck. Go get them.